What's going on, guys? CTG Met back. Welcome to NBA Power Rankings. Let's go over our tiers. We have the favorites. It could happen. Good team, not a contender. Fun losing. Losing with expectations. And hard to watch. If you enjoy this video, like, subscribe. I got this blanket on because it's cold down here. We're going to start off with the Atlanta Hawks, who are going to go in losing with expectations. What that means is you're supposed to be better than this, and they are not. They get Trae Young back, and it doesn't help their skid. It also doesn't help that they're a very small team. They're just too small right now. They don't have Kristaps Porzingis available. He's coming back eventually, like soon, I believe. But as for right now, it's Onyeka Okongwu playing center, and I love Onyeka. One of my favorite backups in the league. The small ball center, the Moussa Diabates, guys like that, I really do like. But the Hawks are struggling to rebound because they don't have a guy above 6'9". Like that, I think Jalen Johnson's currently their tallest player with Kristaps Porzingis out. That's a bit of an issue. They can't rebound. They lost to the Knicks because they kept allowing offensive rebounds to Towns, to Robinson. They were getting murdered on the glass. That's not something they can really help right now. The roster, just simply put, is too small without Porzingis, and relying on Porzingis in 2025 is not a great thing. It's not a good position to be in. Obviously, I like to see some of these guys take steps up in their game. Nickeil Alexander-Walker, Jalen Johnson. But there's also been a couple of guys that have taken a step back. Zach Ricochet has taken a step back. So it's really disappointing. Very disappointing team. They played really well to start the year without Trae Young, and I was happy for them. And now it's right back to the mud, and I don't like that. They don't play any defense either. That doesn't help. They might be they're definitely a bottom 10 defensive unit in terms of what I've watched recently. And Trae Young doesn't help that. I mean, it's not Trae Young's fault they're losing, but at the end of the day, like, he's a part of the team that's losing. So some of the blame's going to go to him. Even though the other night against the Knicks, he took like 9 shots. He took the same amount of shots as Vit Krejci, basically. He's trying his best to be more dynamic and allow other guys to carry the offense, but by God, it's the defense that needs some shoring up. They've been awful on that side. Celtics, I'm going to put in good team, not a contender. Everyone knows this isn't really a finals team for the Celtics without Jason Tatum. It's Jaylen Brown and Derek White and Peyton Pritchard, which has produced really good results to the year so far. But, like, you go beyond that, and they don't have many creators with the ball. When Peyton Pritchard's not getting off and getting loose, and Derek White yesterday against Portland looked like shit, it puts him in a really hard spot where it's Jaylen Brown hard carry. And Jaylen Brown saw a ton of double teams, especially last night against Portland. They basically told him anybody but you in the second half. And guess what? It worked because there aren't many other facets to the offense. Hugo Gonzalez, Jordan Walsh, even Josh Minot. I love all these young guys taking steps up. They look terrific defensively. Offensively, still yet to be decided. Hugo made a 3 yesterday, but he missed a couple of big ones as well. It's a learning curve for these young guys like Hugo and Walsh, but at least they're getting PT on the court, and the Celtics have been really good because of them. So I'm not going to sit here and dump on them when they've been the ones that have really helped carry the season so far. But yeah, they're just not a contender in my book. I don't think it's a realistic thing that's going to happen unless Jason Tatum walks in the door. Like I said, Derek White is the second best scorer, ball handler on the team probably. And he has been what's he shooting on the year? Probably 30-something% from the field. It's not pretty. It's not pretty. As much as I love watching this team play and I love not having expectations on my team to constantly win every game, but it is kind of a different feeling where it's like, oh, I can root for the young guys to take individual steps up, but at the same time, I notice the team isn't that good. It's been a fun season. Maybe when they get Tatum back, we could talk about them as competitors, just not right now to me. You know who's going to go into fun losing? The Brooklyn Nets, because they're not really losing recently. I don't think they're a good team still. I don't think this recent winning streak that they've really gone on, this stretch of really good play I don't think it's going to stick all year. I love Mike Porter Jr. He's been on fire, averaging like 27 during the streak, shooting like over 45 from the three-point line. It's insane. But I don't think this is going to vault them into some like playoff contender or anything. I still think they're closer to a lottery team than a playoff team. They've just been really fun to watch recently. They're a hard to watch for me because you live local. You don't have, what is it called, Gotham Sports or whatever the fuck. I'm not downloading all that to watch a Nets game, gang. But when I do watch them, I'm pleasantly surprised by some of the rookies taking steps up, whether it's Yegor or, other guy, Danny Wolf. You know, Danny Wolf has been a fun one to watch. There's been some really fun moments for the Brooklyn Nets this year, and they've taken steps up, and Michael Porter Jr. is a big reason why. He's been their de facto bucket, and they've needed him desperately, and he's come through recently. Good for him. The Charlotte Hornets are fun losing. I'm going to put them in the same tier as the Nets, even though the Nets have been better of recent. I watch a lot of Hornets games. Why? Because they're in close games often. Like, they hang around and keep with teams. Con Kneppel avoided serious injury. That's a good sign and a great thing for the team overall. I think it was just like a sprained ankle. I think he landed on somebody. It was weird. Either way, he might have stepped on a foot. I can't remember. It was something of the sort. But either way, it's good to see the Hornets taking steps up as a team, but they're still not that good. I mean, who was it? Was it Tristan Thompson the other day that said they're a pro AAU team? It was a former NBA player who said that they're a pro AAU team. That's kind of what they are. They don't have any semblance of, like, defense. That's a big one. They don't play defense. But also, they're an up-and-down team, fast-paced, get a lot of threes up. And I don't hate the strategy, but it's keeping them a lot of the time in the games, but I just don't think they're good enough to finish the games. Are they ever going to be like good enough to produce a winner under the LaMelo Ball leadership era? I have no clue. No clue. But as for right now, like, they've been competitive and losing. That's what fun losing is, when you're bad, but you're keeping it close. Like, that's a good sign, at least in my opinion. I know their record wouldn't indicate they should be here. I completely agree with that. But the Bulls are hard to watch. They're wildly inconsistent, wildly up and down. You'll get a nice 5-game win streak and then a 5-game losing streak. And I've come to realize that a lot of their offense is dependent on Nikola Vucevic, which honestly, I guess that makes sense. I mean, he is a really good player. But, like, it really depends on if Vooch can hit a 3. If Vooch can hit a 3, they look like a really good offensive team. But if Vooch can't buy a 3 and he's obviously not playing defense, it leaves them in a really awkward spot. They need that spacing from their big man to look good, in my opinion. Like, obviously, Giddey's been fantastic. Kobe White's been all right. But honestly, they're still married to the 500 mark. Kenny, king of the fourth quarter, said that it is considered, red 40 wins, because the Hawks, and where's the other one? The Heat are all going to win about 40 games. They are not going to get top picks. They're going to land in the play-in because they're better than the bad teams, but they're not as good as the real contenders. That's why the Bulls are in hard to watch, because they play all right basketball a few games and then really bad basketball a few games. They are the epitome of a 500 basketball team. And it's not fun losing because they have decent players already. And on top of that, they have a higher payroll than the Brooklyn Nets, I would assume. But also, like, more importantly, they're better than the Nets. They're better than the Hornets, which is going to trap them in the cycle of mid. They're going to be a play-in team. A play-in team doesn't get a top 3 pick, usually. You know what I mean? That doesn't happen. So that's kind of where they're at. They're in hell. Same with the Hawks. But the difference is the Hawks spent money this offseason and shelled out for Porzingis, Nikhil, Kennard, who doesn't even get playing time anymore, and other guys like that. The Bulls didn't. They didn't spend a ton of money this offseason. They just ran it back with the same ass roster from last year. So unless they start making trades soon, I don't think I can count them as like a fun losing team, because there's still expectations of them to be solid. Cleveland is up next, losing with expectations right there. Oh my God, dude. Is it injuries? I don't even know. Can you blame this all on injuries, the fact that they're just not that good? They're soft. They're very soft. They are a soft team. Besides Donovan Mitchell, he's hard. Pause. Did the Skims commercial, man. We all saw it. No, okay. All right. Far enough. But they are a soft team. They need to start making moves. They really do, because they're also in the 500. I mean, they're hanging out with the Bulls and the Hawks. You're the Cavs. You won the East last year in terms of record. They didn't win the East overall, but they outpaced everyone for the wins total last year in the East, right? Kenny Atkinson won fucking Coach of the Year, guys. What happened? Is Ty Jerome gone? The biggest thing? They lost Ty Jerome this offseason. That was their biggest loss of the offseason. They brought in Lonzo Ball. I don't know if that's worked. I know the injuries have ravaged them. Mobley's missed time. Allen's missed time. Garland's missed time. Mitchell's been your one consistent guy. I like to see some of the young guys take steps up. Naquan Tomlin, Jalen Tyson, of course. They're just not good. They're just not good. They don't have any good backups. Thomas freaking Bryant ain't covering very well. They are a hard team to watch. They go on these long skids. When's Max Strus coming back? Is Max Strus ever going to play basketball again? I haven't checked in on him in a while. I just keep seeing him on the bench every time I tune in. I don't know. I know they've been injury ravaged, and that's really tough, obviously. But you still have Donovan Mitchell. Like, there's still the star power there. And even when they all played on Christmas, I believe. Maybe not Jarrett Allen. I remember Mobley came off the bench. No, Allen played. I think Mobley came off the bench. They all played, and they blew like a 15-point lead to the Knicks. So it's embarrassing. It's embarrassing, and I'd honestly say they're the worse offender than the Hawks are, because the Hawks I could have anticipated to be mid. The Cavs, on the other hand, if I told you they were going to be mid and closer to 500, you'd be like, what, at the beginning of the season? The Mavs I'm going to put in fun losing, I guess. They could have been a play-in team. I had thoughts that they could have been a play-in team, and they've been respectable as hell with Anthony Davis on the floor. But it's just when he's off, they're not good. They don't have much center play right now with Lively out, Davis out, and Cooper Flagg has been really good. That's the biggest shame of it all, is the fact that Cooper Flagg's been a monster over the last month, and it hasn't mattered. They struggle. Well, they aren't bad defensively, I don't think. They're not like a terrible defensive unit. I don't know. They don't create. You watch the Christmas game, and it was hard to watch when Cooper Flagg sat down. I like Ryan Nembhard. I like Najee Marshall. I like all these guys, but it just feels like a bunch of mid-role players trying to create their own shot when Cooper Flagg's not in the game. Shout out to Coop, because he is amazing, and what he's been doing this year, he's piecing together a really good rookie year. But the team itself, not really that good, and they're obviously heading in the downturn toward a rebuild, and I guess this is the steps to do it, is just losing games. That's what they're doing. They're 9 games under. The Nuggets, I'm going to put in favorites, even though, watch out, they may go on a losing skid in the very near future. They're shorthanded, still without Brown, Gordon, Cam Johnson, a lot of the guys that they brought in. So they're very shorthanded right now, and they're going on an 8-game road trip. I believe 7 or 8 games. They lose the first one to Orlando in Orlando. They now go on this road trip where it's 7 games. 3 of them are primetime games, ESPN Prime Video, stuff like that. And they are still shorthanded on a long road trip. They may get run out of the building a few times. I don't think it's anything to panic about if they do. I'm more so saying they're shorthanded on a long-winded road trip, and it's going to be tough to scrape together. If it's an 8-game road trip, they might lose 4 to 5, and that's not what you want to hear if you're a Nuggets fan, but you have to realize that this isn't the team you're going to go into the playoffs with. And the reason why I'm saying all that is because if you watch the Orlando game, one thing was obvious with them not having all those guys. They don't have a ton of shot creation. It was it was Jokic, it was Murray, and it was Tim Hardaway Jr. was their third wheel taking all the shots. I love their young guys, Peyton Watson, Spencer Jones. They've taken steps up. But without those big-time guys that they're paying a ton of money, it is very hard to see them coming away from this road trip, with a better record. With all that being said, Nikola Jokic is the MVP. So there is a real chance that he could steal you some games and really make it work. I'm just kind of preparing for the worst because, again, shorthanded, long road trip doesn't usually spell a good thing for that team. Warriors, losing with expectations. They're 500. They're just with the Cavs. They're in the 500 boat too. I think the Warriors are literally 500, and that's not a good thing for them. Steph Curry against the Raptors puts up 40, and they go to overtime and they get run out of the building in overtime. Scotty Barnes killed them on the glass. Why'd Scotty Barnes kill them on the glass? I don't know, because they have no fucking centers on the roster. Quentin Post, Trace Jackson Davis. I think TJD was sick or something. But they don't have physicality on the inside. They don't. And that's what they're missing very clearly. That's what they're missing, is a physical presence down low. They just don't have it. And, Steve Kerr talking about we're a fading dynasty. Obviously, buddy. But you could also maybe try and help that. It was so bad the other day. I had a Warriors fan telling me that Pat Spencer was going to save their season. No, he isn't. No, he's not. Sorry, guys. There's no way a guard can save this season because Steph fucking Curry isn't, and he's one of the 3 best guards in ball probably, right? He can't save this team. Jimmy Butler's taken 12 shots, and he had 19 and 5 last night in an overtime game. In an overtime game, your second best player put up 19, and he was efficient with it, but who the hell cares about efficiency when you're the second best player on the team? Warriors are a frustrating team. Hard to figure out. Al Horford's got his sciatica. It's an old team as well. They need an interior presence. Trade Kuminga for like Nick Claxton or something. I don't know. Just get him off the roster if he's not going to play. The Rockets, I'm going to put in it could happen. It could. They're a trade away from being a good team. They just don't have the guard play quite yet. You know what I mean? I like Reed Shepherd. I really do. But he comes in, he looks to score the ball. He's not really a traditional point guard in the sense of like a table setter. He's not what they need in that lineup. They still need that table setter presence. If they don't have that, their offense is a bit of a struggle. They go to Kevin Durant ISOs more, Amen Thompson ISOs more, which aren't always a bad thing, but it does make your offense too one-dimensional, and then you're just relying on offensive rebounds. I know that's how their team's built, is offensive rebounds, but can we get a guy who can get someone else an open look? Maybe. They are a point guard away from being contenders again. As for right now, though, they're kind of sliding. They're sliding, and I understand that 100%, but I'm still putting them here because it feels like their ceiling is higher than they're currently playing at right now. Plus, they lost a lot of winnable games. A lot of, at like New Orleans, they lose one. In Indiana, I think they lose one or something like that. Like they've lost a couple of games to some really bad teams, and that's a focus problem. That's just what that is. It's a focus problem. If you can't beat the Pelicans, and all these other guys that are at the bottom of the conference, it's going to be really hard when you play the top of the conference, even though they manhandled the Lakers on Christmas. I like their attempt at building this bully ball team that lives on offensive rebounds. It's fine. It's fine, and they've won games like that. My issue with it is when you're not offensive rebounding, you need someone who can get you open looks and easy shots. And they don't have that at the moment, but they can still obtain that. The deadline's not passed yet. Indiana, hard to watch. I just genuinely don't nowadays. It feels pointless. Everyone loves Jarris Walker. He hasn't really done well this year. Pascal Siakam's had his ups and downs, and he's trying to cause something in the locker room, shake things up and make people uncomfortable a little bit, telling them, we can't get comfortable with losing. That's the right mentality to have. Both the Celtics and the Pacers are deemed up to be in transitional years this year. One team's doing it with grace, and the other team has fallen to the bottom of the conference. Detroit Pistons, they got to go in favorites. They're at the top of the East. They got punked by Kawhi Leonard last night. We'll talk about that. I love that. But they're on a long-ass road trip. They really are on a long-ass road trip. Do I think that they're better than a majority of the contenders in the West? No, I think a majority of the Western Conference contenders, the Spurs, the Thunder, guys like that, would probably B2A them. But I have to put them there because they've been really good, dominating the East. They play really good. Defensively, they're on a string, those guys. And Asar Thompson has blown me away these last few games. Again, I know the 50-piece by Kawhi doesn't sound very good, but he has some individual plays that make you, kind of wince, oh my God, that's not what normal NBA players do. We could talk about the Clippers. The Clippers are going to go in losing with expectations because that's generally how their season has gone, but over the last week, they've played really good basketball. Ime Udoka basically called them out and said that they don't play hard. The Clippers do not play hard. When the Clippers play the Rockets, Ime Udoka literally said the Clippers aren't a team that plays hard. And if you watch the Clippers, he's right. It hurts to hear from an opposing coach, but he's right. They don't play hard. They're a team of veterans. They don't have guys to get on the ground for the loose ball except for Chris Dunn. They just got Derrick Jones Jr. back, which is going to help out a ton, in my opinion. But they still don't have a ton of loose ball divers. Guys like that. Guys who play with reckless abandon. That's why you need Derrick Jones back. Guys like that. But they've been playing really good basketball recently. It's because Harden, Kawhi, and the young guys have taken some steps up. There's some run. Yannick Conan Niederhauser had a sick dunk last night, a really sick dunk putback, and it helps out. Small stuff like that really helps out. And when Kawhi's working and he's shooting aimbots back, he's shooting I don't know if you guys have seen this. Kawhi Leonard's shooting 96% on the free throw line for the year. Maybe 97. He might be 98. It's well over 95% he's shooting from the free throw line this year. It's been nuts. They're still down there because of how bad their season's gone in general, but overall, I think that they have been playing really good basketball recently. So I'll give them a little salute, but at the same time, you're still very much so in the mud, and it makes you question, did this start too late? I don't know. They're building up their defensive culture, though, because that's where it needs to start for them, is the defensive end. So that's where that goes. Play good defense, you can win more games. Who'd have thought? We're just going to lob the Thunder up there. And I know they've lost to the Spurs a bunch. Whatever. Okay. There's a chance, A, they don't even see the Spurs in the playoffs. But also, B, I don't know if this is a hot take. It's not. This is not a hot take. I'm going to still take the Thunder over the Spurs in a 7-game series playoffs right now. I know they're better right now at this moment, but I just have a lot of faith in this Thunder team. I do. They've won they've been there before. They literally just won the championship last year. And I know it's hard to repeat because every other team treats you like they're the NBA Finals. If the Thunder show up to Charlotte, the Hornets are playing that game like it's their NBA Finals. Even if they get packed out by 20, that's how they're treating it. I just have faith in a team that's been there, done that. And guess what the Thunder did last year? They've been there, they've done that. They've done their job, and as long as they don't keep dropping games, they're still going to be the 1 seed in the West. I'm not worried about that. The Lakers, it could happen. I could move them down, actually. I'm going to put them down here. You know what? I am going to do it because, they pick up a good win against the Kings. Clap it up. They beat the shitty-ass Kings, right? But they struggle defensively. They still do. They still do. They don't have perimeter defenders still. Rob Pelinka ain't doing anything to help out, really. They need more perimeter wings and defenders and guys like that. Nick Smith had good run yesterday, but he's not a defender. All their best players aren't great defenders. DeAndre Ayton has not been a great cover to that, especially because, if Luka's going to be a blow-by, Reeves is going to be a blow-by, LeBron's going to be a blow-by, you need somebody at the rim who can stop that. DeAndre Ayton is not that. I think the Rockets are 1 game behind them, so they could be in the same category. I have less faith in a team that doesn't play defense, and the Lakers just haven't shown me anything defensively that makes me think that they have this higher ceiling, besides just Luka. I could genuinely just say Luka and move them up and justify saying, well, Luka's really good, but I don't see it. I don't see it. They don't have a stopper. They don't have a single stopper on their team. I love Marcus Smart. He ain't doing that anymore. It's Vando is probably their best defender. I don't talk about the Grizzlies a ton. I'm going to put them in losing with expectations. I didn't see them being a really good playoff team this year. I don't know. I don't know. People said that they could be a playoff team before the year. I didn't really see it. This is a team that I struggle to sit down and watch 48 minutes of. I do. Ja Morant is back, and it hasn't really mattered. They lost last night, to the Wizards, no less. They lost to the Wizards, no less, guys. So that's a bad loss, a really bad loss. 6 blocks or 7 blocks for Alex Sarr, of all people. The Grizzlies are just way too up and down, way too inconsistent for my liking. You get high highs, you get low lows. And yes, Ja's back and Jaren's there. I don't know what to think about the Memphis Grizzlies anymore. I would love to talk to a Grizzlies fan about the general direction of the team, because I have no fucking clue what is going on over there anymore. I like Cedric Howard, I really do, but is he a guy you're going to build your team around? I don't know. The young guys that I really liked from seasons prior haven't really taken steps up either. Gigi Jackson, Vince Williams. Vince Williams has been all right, but they haven't taken the step up that I've wanted. Ja Morant hasn't been there. Zach Edey hasn't been there at all. He's played 3 games maybe. It's been a really rough season for the Memphis Grizzlies, and I'd love to talk to a Grizzlies fan down below. I have no idea what to think about your team. The Miami Heat are going in the same category as, I don't know if they have the expectations. I don't know if I'd say they have expectations. You know what? I think they had expectations of being a playoff team. They're just fine. They're going to play up and down. That's what the Heat are. They're an up and down team like the Hawks or the Bulls. They play this 500 basketball where it's they play a good week of basketball, and it almost makes you want to buy in again. And then they go on a skid, and it's well, you just pissed that all away. Case in point, the Heat are currently, they've won back-to-back games. They've looked pretty damn good their last 2 games. But after their last 2 games, go to their last 10 games, they're 3-7. So again, a wildly up and down team with a lot of inconsistencies. I know they're really young. Pelle Larsson, Pelle Larsson's been getting PT recently. Kel'el Ware's been good this year. Rebounding wise, he's killing the glass, but overall, they're just so up and down with their play. I don't know how to feel about them either. They're a 500 team. My dear God, the Bucks are in here now. So we're just filling up this row. It's teams that just could have been better than they are. They felt like they should be better. The Bucks have obviously missed Giannis, and that's the biggest thing. Giannis is back now. They may be able to piece together a little bit of a run here. Maybe they get their season right. Maybe they get back to 500. But by God, have they dug themselves kind of a big hole to get out of. I don't know what you would search on Google to find this, but the other night, Ryan Rollins had a layup where it was over his head off the backboard. It was insane. I don't know if you're going to be able to find that clip or I'm going to be able to find that clip, but Ryan Rollins made a crazy layup the other day. He's been obviously their best player probably with Giannis out. That's not great. The Bucks have just been a hard watch without Giannis, but now that Giannis is back, they're viewable again. And whether they're going to dump everyone at the deadline or hold all their pieces and do it in the offseason, we know there's going to be moves made to this roster eventually. It's just when. The Timberwolves are going right with the rest of us. I mean, this is a good team, but not a contender. They don't have it. Their offense runs weird without Mike Conley on the floor, and I like Mike Conley. Just not anymore. He's 38, He's old. Let him walk into the night, but they don't have another guard that can play that role. Dante DiVincenzo's been an alright passer, but even then, I don't think he's a traditional point guard. And when he is passing well, he's struggling to score, so it makes it a little bit redundant. I don't know. I think the Timberwolves are a decent team, but I don't think they're a finals contender right now. They're a point guard away, just like I could justify Houston being, but I think Houston has the higher ceiling with their ability to play bully ball, even though the Timberwolves can get away with that too. Capella, Adams, Şengün, they have big men they can throw out there and kill it on the glass. I just think they have a higher ceiling than the Timberwolves. If we're being real, the Lakers, the Timberwolves could all make the conference finals. I just don't think any of them are finals teams. I don't think either one of them are good enough. I just think that the Rockets are closer. It's a tough call. I know some people may disagree with that, and I completely understand that. But I just don't view the Timberwolves or the Lakers as real competitors, quote unquote, as compared to the Rockets. I just kind of see more with the Houston Rockets. I don't know how to explain it. I think they have a better floor. For their defense is just immaculate. I know the Timberwolves defense has been immaculate too, with Rudy on the floor, but without Rudy on the floor, it's been a little bit wavering and fun losing because they've won some games recently. They've done relatively well. Listen, the last time I sat down and I watched a Pelicans game in full, yes, I watched the clip of Jose Alvarado and Mark Williams getting into it, but I watched their game, was it last Tuesday maybe, where they were on a 5-game win streak and they rolled into, I forget where, and the first thing I heard when I turned on the game is the Pelicans landed at 3 a.m. last night, so they didn't get a full night's sleep or whatever. And all I can think to myself is, of course, this is the fucking game I watched because now they're going to get plastered. And they did. They lost by 20. Oh, it was against the Cavs. That's who it was against. That was the full 48-minute one that I sat down and watched because I like Derek Queen. I like Trey Murphy. I like Zion even coming off the bench. But it's been they're losing. I mean, and Jeremiah Fears is learning day by day. He's getting better. He's making mistakes, obviously, but he's getting better with more reps. I don't think the Pelicans mind losing, but at the same time, this is a decent team on paper. They just haven't played well. The Knicks, I'm going to put in it could happen. I know they're second in the East, but look at their home road splits, dude. It is weird. They're sub 500 on the road. They are a sub 500 team on the road, and they only have 2 losses. I think they're 15-2 at home. Ridiculous home road split. That's honestly my biggest worry about them, though. I think they have a higher ceiling than the Celtics because they have more guys that can create with the ball. Plus, their bench has actually been really decent recently with Tyler Kolek and Jordan Clarkson coming off that bench and providing a little bit of a spark recently. Now, the Knicks have played good ball. It's just they got to turn that road record around because you're not going to win a finals if you can't win road games consistently. That's the hardest thing to do. That's when a playoff series officially starts, and especially if you're not the 1 seed. Because if you go to the conference finals as the 2 seed and you have to beat the Pistons on the road, that's going to be tough for them. It's either that or you take the 1 seed over. I don't know. But the Knicks have been playing really good ball recently. They've been getting good production out of their bench, and that's the biggest piece to it. Mitchell Robinson, Jordan Clarkson, and Tyler Kolek off the bench have given them a bit of a spark, and you like to see that. Orlando is going to go right there. Good team, not a contender. They're fluctuating, and I could justify saying they're a glorified 500 team. But Anthony Black, man. How about the kid? I love Anthony Black. I did even when he was in college. Was he Arkansas or something like that? He was really good, and he was a toolsy guy. Long, big hands, quick. He was just toolsy. And in the NBA, I mean, it's been an up and down road, but against Denver, he was frying. I think I could justify moving them down, but overall, I just think they have a really high ceiling. And I know everyone keeps saying that about the Magic. They are the Mr. Potential of the NBA for teams right now. But I just think it's a little bit higher than it is. And I know they've been playing 500 ball, but Anthony Black's resurgence, not even resurgence, Anthony Black's breakout has been a fun watch, at least for me. And they're still over 500 by a little bit. They're a middle-of-the-pack team. They aren't a contender. They're just in the same boat as the rest of these guys, where they're a good team, just not good enough. 76ers are going to get put into, I don't even know, fun losing, I guess. It's not. I don't know. They're just a worse Magic. They're the worst Magic. That's kind of how I have to compare them. They obviously have one of the league's leading scorers in Tyrese Maxey. Getting Joel Embiid back has been huge. He's been good recently. It just hasn't led to many wins. It just hasn't. They've been all right at home, but the reality is they're just another 500 team. They've been floating 500 all year. They're on a 3-game skid right now, So they're in a really weird spot. I'm not exactly even sure what to think about the 76ers. They are a 500 team that will play one really good game, one really bad game. That's just how they are. The Spurs are going to get put up there. Their logo is big as hell. Oh, my God. The Spurs are going to get put up there. They deserve it. They've been playing really good basketball. Yes, they lost to Utah, but I think that was a game where Utah shot 47% from 3. It was obscene what they were shooting from 3. I'm not saying it's unsustainable or whatever. It is pretty unsustainable shooting 44%, the Utah Jazz no less. But they've done a really good job playing against the contenders. When they play really good teams, they look like a really good team themselves, and props to them. With Victor coming off the bench, they made it work. Castle is still a demon. Harper's still a demon. Fox has been sick and he has an adductor injury, but I think he should be back soon. And their team is just so dangerous. They have multiple different guys that can give you 20 plus. Vassell, Castle, Harper, Wemby, H. Bizzle, Harrison Barnes. I can't even forget him. Keldon Johnson's been money recently too. He's been a hound on the offensive glass. Overall, I think they deserve the label as a contender. I think they do. Again, I don't think I'd pick them to beat the Thunder in a 7-gamer. Could they beat the Nuggets? I'm not sure. That'd be a fun playoff series. Jokic, Wemby, 7 games. Yo, sign me up. I need a playoff series between Jokic and Wemby. That would be fun. The Suns I'm going to put in fun losing, I guess. They've been playing not great recently, but overall, they're still better than we all expected. 100%. I'm not sure what the direction's going to be. Are they going to just, pass mid-season and continue to be a fine team? There's value in being a fine team, but, wouldn't it be better to be an elite team? I'm not exactly sure what they're going to do. Jalen Green still hasn't even played yet, so maybe they're going to use that as, we made a mid-season trade. It was getting Jalen Green back. You know what I mean? That's just as good as a mid-season acquisition as getting Jalen Green back. I don't know when he is coming back, but it would be more interesting to watch the Suns. They have a good record and they play good defense. They're a team of, I don't even know how to describe it. They are a vibes and fun run team, essentially. They don't have the talent. They aren't out-talenting anybody. They don't have all-stars. They have one all-star. That's it. They've just kind of vibes and have had fun the whole season. That's why I guess they're in fun losing, is because, they're better than probably all these teams down here, but I don't think they're better. I don't think they're on the level of Philadelphia, Orlando, Los Angeles, Minnesota, or Boston. I don't think they're on that level. I think they're a level below, but it's not a bad thing to be where they're at. They've been good without Jalen Green and with no expectations. Portland losing with expectations. They picked up a big win over Boston, but they lost to the Clippers the night before that, I believe. They are a injury-ravaged team as well. A lot of teams are injury-ravaged, I get it, but the Blazers feel a little bit different. Obviously Scoot Henderson still hasn't played, but Drew Holiday's been out, and they're relying on Sidi Sissoko and guys like that, and it's I don't know how to feel about that exactly. Ryan Rupert is getting big minutes. Young Hansen has not looked good. I know he hit a 3 yesterday against the Celtics, but he has not looked good in the NBA so far. They're just injury ravaged, and it's been Denny Avdia doing a lion's share of the scoring and the offensive work in general. If he's not scoring, he still has to be their lead playmaker. They've been kind of sinking, and it's because of the injury bug and the fact that they don't have a playmaker outside of Denny Avdia right now. Kings, hard to watch. I actually won't. There's many different forms of self-harm I'd commit before I turn on another Kings game. I can't do it. The only reason they ever reach my TV is because they're the late night game. They're the latest start. You know what I mean? And when there's nothing else on, fuck it, throw on a Kings game. But they are not good. Jazz, hard to watch. They're better. I guess I could put them up here, but they don't have expectations. I don't know. Fun losing, maybe, I guess. They keep it close a lot of the time, but they're just not good enough. You know what I mean? Their et ceteras, their other players, just aren't good enough. Taylor Hendricks, I know he had a year of stunted development because of the leg injury. He's been kind of wishy-washy. Their big man play has been wavering. Obviously, with Walker Kessler out, you're relying on a lot of Jusuf Nurkic. Whether that gets you good or bad, it's probably going to be bad. Obviously, I still like their all-star level guys. Keontae George, Lauri Markkanen have been playing really good still. Isaiah Collier's had a good couple of games, too. I've noticed his minutes haven't been bad. Overall, though, the Jazz are like a fine watch, a fine viewing experience, but they're not good. Wizards have won back-to-back games, but they're still not good. So that's fun, though. They've won back-to-back games, and I'm proud of them. Congratulations, Wizards. You've won more games in the last week than you did the rest of the year. Now, that's a joke, obviously. That's hyperbolic. But they've been really bad all year, but they just pieced together a couple of wins. So I guess I have to give them a little bit of props, too. The Raptors. I'm going to put them up here. They just called up Mo Bamba, I think, from G League. They brought in Mo Bamba from G League to be their backup 5. They've finally realized that Mamu as the backup center, it's not great. He can do it a little bit, but I don't want to play that full time, and they've kind of had to commit full time. You see, dude, I was in the Raptors subreddit the other day, and they were talking about who would you want as a trade chip, and they need a center, obviously, and a guy floated out of it's Zubats. Dude, they don't want him at all. And it's like, do you realize what your roster's biggest need is? You don't need guard play. You need a fucking backup 5. I don't know if Mo Bamba is going to be the savior here because, again, I don't think I can believe in that. He's been multiple different stops, and he's had multiple different chances, and he just hasn't made it shake in the NBA. I still think they need to move for a center, regardless. They've been on a skid recently. They picked up a win yesterday against the Warriors, which was a good win, but Scotty Barnes was hard carrying that game, it felt like. They just need backup center play, for Christ's sake. You don't have to fucking redesign the wheel. You don't have to reinvent the wheel here. You need a backup 5. That's it. As you can tell, no teams left. If you enjoyed this video, you should like and subscribe to the channel. Thank you all for joining me. I'm going to go catch the game. See you guys in the next one.